I was very fortunate that my friend actually rang me to tell me rather than seeing it on Twitter or social media platforms, because I was just heartbroken and I needed that personable call from somebody I love and loves me, because I think Nikki's passing will affect so many people. It's also going to be a trigger for a lot of people, and what I want to try and do today is make sure that the conversation continues, but it continues with care and with empathy, and that people know that there can be another side to the narrative. Recovery is possible as well.
You know firsthand from that because you yourself have recovered from an eating disorder, haven't you?
Yeah, Nikki and my story is very, very similar. I developed an eating disorder around the age of 10, and it stemmed from bullying. And the thing about an eating disorder is it's a mental health illness, and it's often about lack of control. And for me personally, I couldn't control what people were saying or doing to me, but I could control an element of what went inside me. And I felt like the smaller I was, the safer I was. And of course, that's not true, because an eating disorder makes you so unsafe. But I went through that journey for 13 years because I was deemed not low enough in weight to have a problem at 10 years old, which cut to a year and a half later, I was admitted to a children's psychiatric unit and told that if I didn't eat or drink within 24 hours, I'd be dead. And unfortunately, this is the narrative for a lot of people, where they can't get the help that they need early on. And the longer this illness goes on for, the harder it is going to be to bring somebody back. And that is exactly what happened to Nikki. You know, she'd lived with this for, gosh, nearly 30 years of her life.
As you said, that immediate treatment is not always possible. And of course, I know that you and many other of Nikki's friends were trying to raise money, weren't they, to get her treatment. I mean, how can things change in that sense?
Unfortunately, there are huge gaps at the moment. The waiting lists are vast, but that is what SEED are here for. We are not a clinical service, but we are here to provide support and care. And one of the things that we are doing at the moment is we've got an eating disorders educational toolkit, which we are trying to get into all of the schools around the UK, because education is so key. A lot of people say, or parents or teachers worry that by talking about eating disorders, it's a trigger. It's not. An eating disorder is going to be there or manifest itself, and we can't do anything about that. But what we can do is create a conversation and awareness and allow teachers to have the ability to teach responsibly about body image, eating disorders, well-being in a safe environment, and give these kids a chance.
I want to also ask you about lockdown itself, because so many people have been struggling, haven't they? And many more people, because of lockdown itself, they feel isolated. To some extent, that's also what happened to Nikki. I mean, you support this charity SEED. I mean, have you had more inquiries, for example? Have more people been getting in touch?
We have seen, sadly, an astronomical increase in referrals. I just did the stats yesterday, comparing Jan to March 2020 to Jan to March this year. And we've seen a 1,116% increase in out-of-area attendees to our support groups alone.
As you say, it's a mental health illness as well. I mean, it's so complex and it's such a cruel illness. I mean, what is your advice to anyone, perhaps who sees a loved one struggling? How should they approach it?
One thing that we always urge carers and loved ones to do is speak kindly, sensitively, with empathy, and don't challenge. Ask the question, are you okay? I'm worried about you. And remember that you are speaking to a human being. You are speaking to your daughter, your friend, your sister, your brother. You know, you're not speaking to the eating disorder. We don't want to lose sight of the loved one. And I think that is so key and paramount. And I just hope that anybody going through this now, make sure they remember and hear me now, you matter. You must reach out and seek help. There is SEED, there is Supported, there is BEAT, there is PED. There is so many eating disorder charities out there. And if you pick up the phone or email or text, whatever way you want to do it, we will respond. I think one thing Nikki's death has created is the change of the conversation and a change for good, and her death will not be in vain. And as long as I'm here, I'll make sure that legacy continues.
Really wonderful to speak to you. What an important message to put out there. Thank you very much, Gemma Oaten, and our deepest sympathies to yourself and Nikki's family. Thank you.